Planning for a trip to Wulong but not sure how to get there? Want to take your time exploring the place instead of joining a tour? Follow this guide for everything you need to know to plan a free and easy day trip to Wulong from Chongqing. In order to maximize our time in Wulong, we took one of the earlier trains out of Chongqing Space Station, departing at 8:06 a.m. It takes about 2 hours and 11 minutes to get to Wulong. This is what they call a green skin train, and it's typically slower than a high-speed rail, and the seats are a lot harder. So compared to the one we took to Leshan from Chengdu, if you watch our earlier videos, this was a little less comfortable. We were seated as a cluster of 6, so 3 by 3, and there were 3 people directly opposite us. So it was a little bit less comfortable, less room. Yeah, and 2 hours and 11 minutes later, we have arrived in Wulong Station. So just a little bit of a backstory. We actually planned for this trip using all the resources we got from Xiaohongshu, which is Little Red Note, just the night before. So we only had like an hour to plan for it, and we were debating whether to go on a tour. And we realized that the resources were all in Mandarin, so it might be really difficult for a non-native speaker. So we hope to help with this guide. And so get ready your passports and get out of the station using the manual counter with the staff's help. So after exiting from the station, you can follow the signs that will take you to these official buses that will take you to the Wulong Karst tourist centers. If you're unsure, there's some guys on duty that will facilitate the boarding, and you can check with them. It was quite a comfortable ride. It cost about 10 RMB per person, and the driver would go around collecting the fares using WeChat. So just make sure you have a functioning WeChat account that can make payment. So the journey is about 40 minutes, and some of these roads were a little bit windy, so if you have motion sickness, do take note of that. Upon arrival at the tourist center, go to basement 1 to purchase the tickets for the attractions you want to visit. Although we plan to visit both the 3 natural bridges as well as the Longshui Xiaojie, we were advised to only purchase the tickets for the 3 natural bridges first, as in the event that we don't have enough time for both attractions. So after purchasing your tickets, you can head to the boarding area to take another bus that will take you to the entrance. It takes about 20 minutes to get here. There are multiple entrances to this attraction, and we entered from entrance number 1, as it's free to take the lift. In all other entrances, you're required to pay a price for the lift, and it's about 50 RMB. If you look closely, there's a platform that is exclusive for visitors who paid for the bridges on the glass floor. So if you do wish to have that add-on, please do make your purchase at the entrance. So here's a little bit about Wulong Karst. It's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, famous for its stunning karst landscapes. It's characterized by features like giant sinkholes and natural bridges. So since we are visiting the 3 natural bridges, there's actually a series of 3 natural stone arch bridges formed by erosion, and they are a highlight of this national park. These 3 natural bridges is actually composed of Tianlong Bridge, Qinglong Bridge, and Heilong Bridge. So we're walking through like this one-way path that will lead you to a lift, and this by taking this elevator, it will take you downstairs where you can get first-hand view of these bridges. So we were quite happy because we were like the first people who entered the lift, and there was the transparent side. But little did we know that the moment like the lift goes down from the 17th story, it starts doing this rotation, and very soon we no longer have this view.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think you can see the rotation very obviously. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that's what happened. And for the rest of the maybe 10-ish stories, like this is what we see. But yeah, so just to take note of it when you're taking this view. I swear the videos don't do this place justice, but it was really a sight to behold. So then you'll be forced to like come here to take a photo, like some free keychain. And it's really funny, they only gave us the backing, so we were really confused because where's the clothing. And the way they did this was so robotic, it almost feels like you're bored. Yeah, but okay, the photos turned out pretty nice. So there's a lot of stairs, a lot of walking. Pay attention to these men here. So they're carrying wooden carriages, so you can engage their service and get them to carry you down this mountain. Yeah, like at least that flight of steps. So it was quite funny and interesting. There's definitely a market for it. We saw someone riding it and we'll get to that later parts of this clip. So yeah, here's just us having a little bit of fun. So we were here in early March, so it was actually quite cold or like chilly. So I'm sorry in advance if the clips are shaky. And we were very surprised by this like hot air balloon. So apparently it's an add-on that you can pay for, and we actually saw someone riding it. So this is it like going up really slowly. Yeah, quite interesting considering how I never experienced riding on a hot air balloon. And yeah, it's held down by strings so it doesn't go too high. Okay, so I'll show you how high it goes. You can watch this video to find out. But if not, just skip ahead to the next part. So if you continue walking ahead, you'll actually see the first bridge arch. Yeah, so it was quite magnificent looking at it from this angle. And also, from what I understand, if you come from entrance 2, you somehow end up like near this first bridge arch instead of like where we were at the start of the video. But that also meant that you had to walk quite a far distance and you missed out on some of these stunning views. So something to consider. And over here there's a description for Tianlongqiao, which is one of the natural bridge arch. And here is a 360 view of the surrounding region. There was actually a staircase right by the side and we were curious what was up there. We did this so you don't have to, or maybe we should. Yeah, but anyway, it gives you a pretty good picture or aerial view of this Tang Dynasty style building, and it was built for handling official business and receiving guests in ancient times. But from up here you get a pretty stunning view of it, and against the backdrop of the mountain as well as the karst and all the rock formation, it's stunning. But just be prepared for quite a bit of stairs climbing, because when you climb up you do have to come back the same way down. And anyway, if you are not up for climbing, you can also explore the Tang Dynasty building, as it's now somewhere commercial, and I believe there are some cafes in there that you could grab some food or drink. Yeah. And then you go back onto the path and explore the rest of the natural bridges. I left some of those clips up just so that you can go there and experience it for yourself. And there's quite a bit of art sculptures and displays, which was really cool. And I realized they have such vivid imagination. So the way the light hits, they were saying this looks like a flying carp jumping out of water. So that was really cool, and there were some certain parts where it is dripping water, since these are all still natural rock formations. So a close-up view of the carriages. So cool, right? It's so old school. But anyway, there are more and more of like creative photo taking throughout, and you'll see everyone doing the same thing. So just join in, have fun. Yeah. Then you will hit this water body where there are just like boats, waterfalls for you to take picture of, and chess pieces. We were having so much fun, and I'm just so glad we didn't do a tour but decided to go free and easy so that we had time for this. Look, someone riding. Yeah, so it is actually a profitable business. So once you get out of the 3 natural bridges attractions, you do have to get to a bus terminal that would take you either back to the tourist center or to other attractions like the Longshui Gate. And to get there, you have 2 options. One is to like join us and take this buggy ride down to the terminal. It costs about 15 RMB per person. It takes about 10 minutes. Alternatively, you could like walk for like about 20 minutes to get there. So these are the people walking. But yeah, I would say if you since you're doing quite a bit of walking already, if you're going with children or elderly, it might be a good idea for you to like pay for this buggy ride. So I'm not sure why, but I lost a whole bunch of kids. But at the bus terminal, there's actually a ticketing counter that you can get tickets to Long Shui Xia Get if you have sufficient time to go. There's also food and drinks that you can buy. We had instant noodles, and that's pretty much all. So really overpriced snacks. Then we got on this bus that would take us to Long Shui Xia Get, and it was a really bumpy ride. It takes about 10 minutes to get there, but I swear by its bumpiness. Look at this. Yeah, so before you know it, you're there. So once you get off the bus, you do have to walk a slight distance to the attraction entrance, but there are also a lot of descriptions along the way for you to understand what this is. And I re-emphasize for foreigners, like there are no official tickets issued, but your passport is your ticket to everything. And anyway, in this Long Shui Xia Get, there are a lot of like downward sloping staircase and narrow spaces. Some of them can get pretty wet, I would say even quite steep. So just be careful and do consider like if you're physically fit enough to get through all of these stairs, and I mean a lot of stairs. So let me tell you a little bit about the Long Shui Xia Gap. It's actually, the gap was actually formed due to the orogeny tens of millions of years ago, and it's actually a gap style gorge, and it's an important part of the Wulong Karst landform. The whole gorge is about 5 km long, but what we are effectively exploring is only about 2 km of it. So again, you'll reach a point where you take a lift down, but this lift is non-rotational, so don't worry, just get a good view of this place. So the gorge is actually magnificent, and the depth of it is about 200 meters to 500 meters, and it's from over thousands of years, and the landscapes are so stunning. What you'll see here is a lot of primitive forests, waterfalls, springs, and gorges. So I hope this video gives you a glimpse of it. So I would say that this gorge is a lot shorter than the one we had. We spent about like 2 hours on the 3 natural bridges, but really short here. But you have to understand that the amount of stairs and the steepness of it can get a lot more tiring. Yeah, so throughout this video, I think I've been trying to show you that it is quite a walk, but trust me, every turn is so different, so pretty. I was in absolute awe of this place. So again, water bodies can get a little bit slippery, and this time there is no such service of people carrying you down, so just in case you need to plan ahead. But you'll hit this really magnificent waterfall. It was stunning, and you can just, I can't even describe how impressive it felt, and it was just majestic. Yeah, and you walk around it, you get views around it, under it. Really cool. I believe my videos barely scratch the surface of how beautiful this place is, and I would say if you have time on your itinerary from Chongqing, definitely come check this place out. So there's this part where like the stairs it was half concrete and half of this brick-like thing, so you're just seeing right under you. Quite scary but really cool. We were only in Wulong for a day trip, and we had to quickly catch a bus to get us back to the train station after this, as we arranged for a 6:41 p.m. train. It was a little bit tight for us, so I highly recommend you to take a slightly later train if possible. But again, we booked it last minute, so there was no more slots, and this was the best that we could get. And all in all, I highly recommend you to check out Wulong, and if possible, even stay the night, as there's still many attractions like the Fairy Mountain that we didn't even get to see. But yes, hope this is helpful to everyone, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. See you!